Welcome to Arsenal, Leandro Trossard. Yes, before in Arsenal have secured the Brighton left winger Leandro Trossard on a cut deal. As I do with every player that moves to Arsenal, it is my turn to first congratulate them for joining the club and secondly run through their strengths, weaknesses and potential fits. You have all the information you need on Leandro Trossard. As always, let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the signing. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe. I'm already to 2,000 subscribers if you love Arsenal related content. So let's start with his strengths. As we know, Leandro Trossard coming to Arsenal, it wasn't necessarily our first target in Mykhailo Mudryk, but he is still an attacking player that can contribute. He is Premier League proven. That is probably his plus side and one of his best points when we talk about the man. He's not like Mudryk, who's got to come in and have some time to adapt to the Premier League. He's been playing in the Premier League for a few seasons now, 4 in total, I believe. So he's Premier League proven, does not need to adapt to Arsenal Football Club. Also because he's used to playing for a footballing side. Not only has he come from the Premier League, he's come from Brighton. You know, under Potter and also now under De Zerbi, he likes to play a possession style football and a very exciting football type style rather than teams that just sit back low block. So coming into Arsenal's system could actually work for Leandro Trossard. It won't be a complete shock to the system where he's playing a brand new brand of football. Goal contributions, 7 goals in 16 Premier League games this season. That is not a bad return, including a hat-trick at Anfield earlier, which, look, if you score a hat-trick at Anfield, you're a good player in my books. Any player that can contribute for us, that'll be really important. We know that as a team, even when we had Jesus in there, he wasn't necessarily a focal point that would score many goals for us. We look at scoring goals from all over the pitch. That is why players like Odegaard, Saka, Martinelli have all kind of shared the load offensively. Having someone like Trossard that can come in and potentially come off the bench and also net us a few goals would be absolutely outstanding for us, and someone that we are in dire need of in tight games such as against Newcastle, where we were looking for a match winner off the bench. That brings me to my next point. He could embrace the sub role. I think Mudryk coming in, he kind of assumed he would start, and I did too. If you're buying a player for 85 to 100 million euros, you're expecting them to probably start in the team, right? I think Trossard coming in for a cut fee, he could probably understand, look, my role is I'm going to be a super sub. He might embrace that more, and he might think, you know what, I'm joining Arsenal, we're challenging for a Premier League title. I'm not going to be at Brighton, despite playing well at Brighton. I know at Arsenal I can still do some damage off the bench, come in for Europa League games. When we play Champions League football next season, I'll get even more of an opportunity. So I think he could really embrace his new role at Arsenal Football Club and won't be sitting there disappointed on the bench week in, week out. Also, his versatility. We know how much Arteta loves players that are fluid and can play across a range of positions. We are in need of multiple attacking positions, let's be completely honest. Even if Saka gets injured, his next man down is Reece Nelson or Marquinhos. Trossard can play left wing, but is also adept at playing false 9 for Brighton. That is also important for us, given that Nketiah is leading the line right now, given Jesus' injury. But should Nketiah get injured, we have no recognised number 9, meaning that Trossard will have to fill in there, or potentially Martinelli. Either way, we have options now and players that can play across that front three. And even during games, we know Arteta sometimes he likes to play around the front three. Maybe Martinelli goes right wing, Saka goes left wing in game to try and test out the fullback with a new attacker. That can be done when you've got a lot of attackers that are interchangeable, and Trossard definitely contributes to that. Unfortunately, as all players do, they have some weaknesses. So let's move on to those for Trossard. One, he's 28 years old. When I made a video on him a few days ago talking about 5 potential players, 5 potential attackers that Arsenal should sign, I mentioned Trossard, but I did say he wouldn't be the most exciting one because of his age. He's still 28 years old, just turned 28 though in December, early December, but it's still not as much room to develop. If we had signed someone like Mudryk, Rafael Leao, Moussa Diaby, younger players, you can still develop them, mould them into a top talent. They've got so much more potential. Trossard, what you see is what you get with him. I don't think he's going to get much better. He might excel in a new Arsenal team that is definitely got much more quality than Brighton, but I don't think he's going to kick on and become 10 times better a player than we originally assumed he could be or would be. I think what you see is what you're going to get with him. So that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing in a way, but he's definitely reached around his prime, so don't expect him to get much better at Arsenal. Also, another point is, recently he did kick up a temper after the World Cup, to a point where De Zerbi didn't play him and he refused to train. This is not a good sign. We know Arteta, I mean, one of the things about him is they said he doesn't really like egos at his football club. He wants a lot of players that are going to contribute and are not going to arrive late to training and prioritize themselves over the team. It's one of the reasons that he actually got rid of Aubameyang. He came out, he said that he had a late list. Aubameyang was not refusing to follow along with any of the rules that he set. And it's one of the reasons he kicked him out of the football club. If Trossard's already thrown a temper at Brighton, think what happens if he comes to Arsenal. He's not necessarily starting every game. Let's see. It's a risk in that aspect. But Hopefully he will have his mindset sorted out. Maybe it was just a little thing, a little dispute he had with his manager. But I hope Arteta sits him down and tells him, look, I don't want any of that at this football club. We're gunning for a Premier League title. We can't have players that are going to kick up a fuss and rock the apple cart a little bit. No, we need everyone focused on our goal, and you can be exactly that if you align with us and don't kick up a fuss. Also, another point is, this is kind of a pessimistic one, but is he a stopgap / panic signing? We all know it's no secret that we put all our eggs into that Mudryk basket. We submitted 3 bids. We were willing to pay way over the odds for him with that €95 million bid. Now we're going for someone like Trossard. Does it seem like it's just, oh, we need to sign an attacker. Trossard's available. He's been offered to us. Do we get him? Because we do know that Brighton did offer Trossard to us. His agent offered Trossard to Arsenal as well. It's not as if we necessarily went out to get, oh, Trossard's our man. He's got a 6-month expiring deal, although Brighton do have the opportunity to extend it until 2024. He's available on the market, and we seem to have taken advantage, which of course I'm always a fan of taking advantage of players that are available on the market. But is it the case of that? Is it a case that Arsenal didn't necessarily prioritise him? Is he not necessarily the #1 target we would have wanted? And then the last point is, how will he adapt to playing for a big club like Arsenal? It's one thing playing for Brighton, but taking that next step up, who knows what can happen? Some players can crumble, some players can thrive. It's an open-ended question. Let's see. I wish him the absolute best. I'm going to end by talking about Trossard's Arsenal fit. So I think it's no surprise that he's an attacking player, a left winger, and for me, he will start as an impact sub off the bench. We desperately need that. Smith Rowe's back from injury. Reece Nelson will be coming back as well, but we need attacking abundance options. Because even against Newcastle, we saw that Arteta did not rate the players off the bench. He did not rate Marquinhos, Vieira. He'd rather ride out of the team that he's got. I think he will take a risk or take a gamble on Trossard. Say Martinelli's not having a great game. Last 15, last 20 minutes, bring Trossard on left wing. Test the defender in new ways. Be a bit more of a dynamic player maybe. And give us a different option, some versatility in attack. Martinelli, he's someone that's going to chase down defenders. But Trossard's a bit more dynamic, can cut inside more, be a bit more tricky in terms of passing the ball around. He's not just going to sprint past defenders. So in that aspect, I think he will be an impact player off the bench to start. But also, we'll probably start in FA Cup games, some Europa League games as well. But I could also see him come in and become a false 9, maybe off the bench for Nketiah as well. That's the good thing about Trossard. He can play along the front line. So I think overall, it will be a decent signing for Arsenal. So ranking this signing overall, I give it a 7 out of 10 for Arsenal Football Club. I would have preferred Mudryk, but it is what it is. That one fell through. Trossard will be a good, very astute, smart signing. That's how I would summarise it for Arsenal Football Club. And some good business in January that can hopefully power us through and help win the Premier League title. As always, let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on the Mudryk deal and this video in particular. Make sure you drop a like if you enjoyed the information I provided for free today. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. We're to 2,000 subscribers if you love Arsenal related content. I've been Football, and I ideally hope to see you all in my next video.